A few weeks ago, 16 drivers began their quest in the postseason playoffs for the 5th season of the NCAA Hersheys Cup Series chase for the championship. After 3 races, we whittled the field down from 16 to 12. Here tonight, we will be determining who will be a part of the Elite 8 in our 3rd, next to last round of the championship. Good evening, everybody. Welcome here as we begin our Hersheys Cup Series race here from the Riki Raceway, capping off what's been a very exciting weekend, but this race probably has the most weighing on it, and the fact it is an elimination race. After the checkered flag waves, 4 more drivers will be eliminated from competing for the championship, and it will leave us with 8 drivers left to battle it out for 4 more races here this year. It's going to be crazy in the fact as well that our 2 races so far this weekend, both the Truck Series and the Pizza X Series races, have run clean and green from green flag to checkered flag. But another couple of factors. Number 1, both series, they were not able to make it the full scheduled distance without having to make a green flag pit stop, so pit strategy could very well come into play in tonight's race. And secondly, wasn't a whole lot of showing from our playoff drivers up inside the top 10 at the completion of our 3 stages. So that could be another key issue here tonight on whether or not we're going to see our playoff contenders be able to make their way up inside the top 10 if they haven't qualified there already, to be able to get those very valuable stage points. Remember, those stage points in an elimination race are super important because they could be the difference between whether you're going to be moving on to the next round or you're going to be finishing out the rest of the season without a chance of battling for this championship. Also keep in mind here too that even though this is an elimination race, if one of our playoff drivers go to victory lane here tonight, it not only locks them into the next round obviously, but also gives them some very valuable playoff points that will be reformatted when our Elite 8 are put together. So let's set the table for you on what it looks like coming into this race as far as the playoffs are concerned. Joshua Michaels comes into this race as the points leader. Right now, I think he's in a very good position to make it into the next round regardless of what happens here tonight, due to the fact that he has a 96-point advantage over 8th in the standings. I don't think that he can in any way fall outside of the top 8. Same goes for Trent Dunham. I believe that the 1 car is also going to make it into the Elite 8 as he comes into this race currently about 82 points ahead of that cut line. So I think those 2 drivers are safe heading into the next round. Anthony McCrury, Daniel Guilbert and Chris Dodd, they're kind of question marks because they come into this race somewhere between 50 to 40 points ahead of that cut line. So it's going to be close, but I think they might be safe to move on to the next round. They're going to have a horrible evening for them to fall outside of the top 8. But then we get down to the very interesting part. Dylan Young, right on the precipice right there, because he comes into this race a total of 23 points ahead of that cut line. Let's get the command real quick.
Drivers, start your engines!
So as I said, Dylan Young, 23 points ahead of that cut line. That could very easily be made up by other drivers if Dylan Young encounters problems here tonight. So he's not out of the woods yet. And then it gets really close for the remainder of the field. You've got Garrett Sydnor 7th in points. He's only 5 points ahead of the cut line. Sean Gallighan is 8th in the point stands, that critical position. Then you've got Charles Sandfer, he's 9th in points, only 1 point behind Gallagher, behind that cut line. Dallas McIntosh is 10th, only 2 points behind that cut line. And then Alex Drayton and Benjamin Miles, they're just going to really need good runs here tonight because they both come into this race currently situated 5 and 8 points behind that cut line respectively. So it's going to be a bit of a battle, I think, between Sydnor, Galligan, Sandfer, McIntosh, Drayton, and Miles here tonight. That's really, I think, where the big battle is going to be. And right here you can see one of those drivers mentioned, actually 2 of those drivers mentioned, are starting up inside of the top 10. Drayton rolling off from 5th, Sandfer rolling off from 9th. So we'll see what happens here tonight. It's going to be a crazy one. Lime Rock certainly left us with a very interesting playoff scenario coming into this race here at Riki Raceway. Quentin Moore, one of 2 rookies that's yet to go to victory lane this season, the other one being Cody Smart. So Quentin Moore looking for career win number 1 here in the Hersheys Cup Series. 25 laps of racing here this evening. The stages will be 8, 8, and 9. And as I stated, especially for those drivers between 7th and 12th in the point standings, those stage points will be very, very valuable. Pace car pulls off to pit road. It's time to go racing. Who's going to make it into the Elite 8 when the checker flag waves here at Riki? Flagman's ready, we're ready, green's out here at Riki Raceway. Let's roll! Lime Rock, we saw Brandon Gonzales snap a 120-plus race winless streak. Another driver that's got a winless streak coming into this season, making the move to the inside. That's Tim Walsh in the 15. These super speedway type races always seem to cater towards the underdog. Can Tim Walsh use that to his benefit here tonight? Alex Drayton's got his teammate Dylan Poteet there. It looked like Poteet might have been trying to help the 77, but when Drayton checked up, Poteet had no choice but to go to the bottom of the racetrack, and now he's going to bypass his rookie teammate. And I believe I thought the caution was out. I was going to say, was that going to be the caution for the first time this weekend? Because as mentioned, the first two races this weekend have gone clean and green all the way to the checkered flag as the battle is on for the lead. Poteet to the bottom. K Tellier right there. Starting to see some playoff drivers making their way towards the front, realizing the gravity of the situation of getting those playoff points. The 14 of Dallas McIntosh is now up inside the top 10. Benjamin Miles just outside the top 10. Sydnor is also trying to crack the top 10 there in the 38. As K Tellier will go to the lead. Two-time winner back in Season 3. Made it into the playoffs. Winless since her win at Watkins Glen back in Season 3. Another driver that actually comes into this race in that winless streak category. Tellier, Walsh, Hudson are the only three drivers left to snap what's been a very big winless streak for them. Tim Walsh is on a 70-race winless streak. K Tellier 77 races, and Nathan Hudson in the 29 has now entered into the 100 zone. 101 races since his last trip to victory lane, all the way back in, I believe it was Season 1. No, that was it Season 1? It was Season 1 or Season 2, I can't recall. K Tellier's only 2 wins of her career, though, here in the Hersheys Cup Series came at road courses back in Season 3. She swept it in Finian and Watkins Glen. So if she wins tonight, it'll be her first career win in the Hersheys Cup Series at a super speedway. It would actually be the first time in a season that KB Racing Enterprises had both their drivers go to victory lane. Season 3, it was K Tellier winning. This season, it was Keith Batson winning. Neither driver won back in Season 4. Get Alex Drayton right there. I think maybe there was a little bit of a conference with the Tweenix Racing drivers before this race began. Poteet probably telling Drayton, hey, wherever I go, follow me. I'll keep you up at the front, get you those stage points you need to be able to get into the next round. We have never had a rookie win the championship in the Hersheys Cup Series. Season 1 doesn't count because every driver was a rookie then. Poteet went to the bottom. Drayton didn't follow him there. Poteet will go to the lead. Charles Sandfer now up there inside the top 10, 0-3, following our winner from a couple of weeks ago, J Baskinger, who dominated Oswego. He's trying to finish out the season with another win. Charles Sandfer going to follow in his tire tracks right there. As you can see, Dallas McIntosh down to the bottom, Garrett Sydnor down to the bottom. These drivers are realizing we're getting close to the end of this first stage. A couple of names that I'm not seeing up here that came into this race in that danger zone. One of them is Sean Gallighan. So right now, things not looking good for the 44 car to make it onto the next round of the playoffs. Also, Dylan Young in the 2 has not really made his way up towards the front yet. So we're going to have to see if they get up here near the closing stages. But as things stand right now, technically, I do not see them anywhere near the top 10. So they would not be in line for any stage points when we get to the completion of lap 8. J Baskinger, though, out in front. His teammate, playoff contender Garrett Sydnor, back there now battling for the 6th position. He'd love to be able to get up there, work with his teammate. Chevy's all up here in the top 4, but all from different teams. AS Racing's Baskinger, Retro Racing Enterprises Sandfer, Tweenix Racing's Poteet, and CJ Racing's Walsh are your top 4 right now, with Joshua Michaels Honda breaking up that Chevrolet group. Now in 5th, and now he's actually going to have to give way to a Chevy. Garrett Sydnor to the bottom. And I remember I said that we didn't see Sean Gallighan up here at the front yet. Well, it looks like he found his teammate Cole Baker. They've now charged up into the top 10. Baker now up to 6th, Gallighan up to 7th, as next time by is the completion of our first stage. And the driver that's been taken to the high side, one of the danger zone drivers, is Dallas McIntosh in the 14. Being picked up high there with Joshua Michaels, so he might not get some stage points after this one. Here comes Gallighan and Baker. They're going to work together there against Tim Walsh. Garrett Sydnor is going to try and get more stage points. He's going to try and get Poteet for third as they're racing here towards the start-finish line to complete our first stage. It'll be Baskinger who will win this stage, but who's going to get the stage points for the playoff contenders? It's like Sandfer, Sydnor, and Gallighan at least as they cross the line here to complete the stage. Sandfer gets 9, Sydnor gets 8, Gallighan's going to get 6, and that's it. 3 playoff contenders going to get some stage points, and all 3 of them came into this race in that danger zone area. So big time stage points needed for all of those drivers, and they got it here in this first stage. It's now Sydnor to the inside of his teammate Jake Baskinger. Baskinger being a teammate, is he going to let Sydnor win a lap here? That'd be another bonus point that Sydnor could get if he can get to the line first. Gallighan right behind him would love to get that lap-led bonus point as well, though. Bonus point will go to Sydnor, but how anxious is Gallighan going to be to try and get to the race lead? Sydnor now tucks up in front of his teammate Baskinger, now moves back down low to stop the advance at the inside line. Garrett Sydnor has only made one other playoff postseason appearance in his career back in Season 3. One win at Bristol Dirt got him into that playoff. Well, Garrett Sydnor has a win this season. He's never been to victory lane more than once, though, in a season in Hersheys Cup Series competition. Charles Sandfer now caught up there on that high side. He's starting to fall back. Driver that's starting to move up is Benjamin Miles in the 25. He has now been able to work his way to the inside line, tail end of this group. There he is, starting to work his way towards the front. Anthony McCrury right there in the 61. Daniel Guilbert just a ways ahead there in the 4. I mentioned that McCrury, Chris Dodd, and Daniel Guilbert with slightly good runs tonight could make their way easily into the Elite 8 as we are 3 wide here. J Arndt, Tim Walsh, and Jake Baskinger. Arndt will take the spot, and now they'll settle back out to double wide. Meanwhile up front, Gallighan puts a block on Levi McIntyre for second. He's trying to get some help to be able to get around Garrett Sydnor so he can get himself a bonus point for leading a lap. McCloud now going to make a move for third on Levi McIntyre. McCloud, J Arndt, former championship contenders from last season's postseason. Levi McIntyre now on a 1-year winless streak. His last win coming a year ago last week at Lime Rock. And you can see that 25, that blue car, following in the tire tracks of Daniel Guilbert towards the front. Speaking of at the front, James McCloud going to get a big shove from J Arndt, and the 51 will take the race lead. McCloud, who in his rookie season last year went to victory lane twice and made it into the playoffs. Still looking for his first win of the season. Same for J Arndt. Last season he picked up his first career win, the Hersheys Cup Series at Kansas. Now looking for career win number 2 here in Season 5. Now we mentioned that we hadn't seen Gallighan up towards the front, and he was one of those playoff contenders that needed to be up there. Well, he's now up here inside the top 10. Miles is up here, so is Garrett Sydnor, but a couple of names that have seemed to fade back now include the 77 of Alex Drayton and the 14 of Dallas McIntosh. Oh, there's Gonzales, last week's winner. Not a good run for him. Hartnett is also near the rear of the field. Michaels has dropped back here along with Trent Dunham. I think they're just riding it out till the end. Like I said, they're pretty much locked into the next round, I think. But there's Drayton, there's McIntosh, and there's Dylan Young. These 3 drivers in particular could be in big trouble if they don't get themselves up near the top 10 here at the end of this stage, or at least the end of the race to finish out stage 3. There is McIntosh in the 14. Chris Dodd's back here, but like I said, I think he's in pretty good shape. I think McCrury's in pretty good shape along with Guilbert. I think the real battle, as J Arndt is now taking the race lead away from James McCloud, I think the real battle is going to be Dylan Young, Garrett Sydnor, Sean Gallighan, Charles Sandfer, Dallas McIntosh, Alex Drayton, and Benjamin Miles. Where did the 0-3 go as well? Sandfer faded back outside the top 10. Oh, there he is. Now he's just barely outside the top 10 right now. I think he's around the 12th spot, now battling JT Bryant for that position. So he's still up at least within striking distance of the lead pack. before the playoffs began, Garrett Sydnor was the only driver out of AS Racing that went to victory lane. Jake Baskinger went to victory lane a couple of weeks ago at Oswego, and now Jon Arndt trying to complete the sweep for the second season in a row of all 3 AS Racing drivers going to victory lane. They can't replicate what happened last season as far as all 3 drivers making it in the playoffs, but they can at least have all 3 of their drivers go to victory lane, as now he'll have a teammate in second place. Baskinger makes the pass for second on Daniel Guilbert. Gallighan moves to third, and look who else is right there with him. Benjamin Miles in the 25, trying to pull a Hail Mary to make it into the Elite 8. I mean, the battle for the points from 7th on down to 12th was only a split of 11 points. That is super close, and with these stage points potentially, that makes it even closer. As out of turn 4, it's going to be Jon Arndt. Looks like 1-2 with his teammate. He's going to win segment 2, and let's see what playoff drivers get points. Miles gets 3rd, Gallighan 5th, Sandfer 6th, Guilbert gets 9th. Big points there for Gallighan, Sandfer, and Miles. Things not looking good right now for the 14 of Dallas McIntosh and the 77 of Alex Drayton. And it could be really close with Sydnor, Gallighan, Sandfer, Miles. Very likely some of these drivers that we're mentioning could be getting stage points, could be running well, and still not making it into the Elite 8. The points are just that close. Looks like Jon Arndt's about to catch up to the last driver on the lead lap. That is the defending champion of the series, Matt Haas, who I think just wants to get this year over with. It has been anything but a championship season for him. And they are going to catch that Toyota Camry pretty quickly. Probably here on the back straightaway, maybe out of turn 2, as now Baskinger looks to the inside on Jon Arndt. I don't know what kind of a move this is. Not the move that's going to get him the race lead. Jon Arndt swung around the outside of the 78, and he's going to pull away. That's not exactly a good thing. And now Benjamin Miles, not a good thing for him or Charles Sandfer. They're going to get caught up there on the high side behind a car that is not off the pace, but slower, because you don't produce nearly the same amount of speed by yourself as you do in a pack of race cars. Talk about Jon Arndt looking for his first win of the season. Well, there's a couple of drivers behind him also looking to go to victory lane. Cole Baker trying to finish out the season with another win. Got eliminated from the playoffs back in the first round. You got Brooke Allen looking for her first career win. Zachary Fitzwater there. And look who else has fought his way back up into the top 10 again. Garrett Sydnor's back in that 38. Anthony McCrury now up in this mix. Also Chris Dodd. Some of these drivers that I said looked like they were okay heading into the Elite 8. They're trying to get up here and get themselves some stage points nonetheless. And we might have some pit stops here. Yes, we do. Brooke Allen has hit pit road. Looks like her teammate Daniel Guilbert is also on the pit lane in the 4 car, and some others hitting pit road, as we've got about 6 laps to go here in this race. Just like our Track Tech Truck Series race and our Pizza X Series race, this race going to come down to green flag pit stops and fuel strategy. Teammates 1, 2, and 5 right now. Arndt, Baskinger, and Sydnor. Fitzwater dives low on Gallighan. I wonder if he might be coming to pit road this time. Well, he tucked back in line, so maybe everybody up here in this lead group's going to pit this time around. They all got single files, that way they can make it down pit road safely, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Second group back here. They're all going to come to pit road, with the exception of the 25 of Benjamin Miles. Miles is actually going to, I believe, lead that lap, so that's a bonus point for him. Now we got to see if he can make it back around to pit road, but he's going to be going to pit road all by his lonesomes. But we saw this actually happen in the Pizza X Series race here last night. R.J. Reynolds rolled the dice, stayed out an extra lap, and he was able to finish, I think it was in the top 5, so little risky on the part of Benjamin Miles here, but like I said, he came into this race 12th of the 12 playoff drivers, so trying to pull a Hail Mary here to get himself into the next round, the Elite 8. He'll come to pit road probably this time, along with the lap machine of Matt Haas. And that will turn the race lead over, I think, probably to Jon Arndt again, right? Jon Arndt's just now leaving pit road. And Baskinger did not have a good pit stop, it looks like. He is way back there. My goodness, he lost a ton of positions. But I think this will turn the race lead over to Jon Arndt. Gallighan would be in second, with Garrett Sydnor third, Fitzwater fourth, and Baker in fifth when the thing cycles around. see if Arndt leads this lap, if it cycles back to him or not. Nope, Benjamin Miles is still the race leader. Where's the 25? 25 has not left pit road yet. There he is, just now leaving pit road. Gonna have to see if that strategy comes back to bite Benjamin Miles or not. Jon Arndt is gonna be the race leader. Second place, it's actually all lined up there. Gallighan, Sydnor, Baker. You got Cody Smart, K Shearer in this group, along with Brooke Allen and Zachary Fitzwater. Then there's another group back here with McIntyre, Richardson, pole sitter Quentin Moore, along with teammates there Chris Dodd, Leon Alvarez, and J Baskinger. Also T Walch in this group. Looks like Benjamin Miles is going to cycle around just behind this group, just ahead of Nathan Hudson, Daniel Guilbert, and Jessica Shelton, but I don't think that's anywhere close to the top 10. This group there, though, they are starting to reel in the race leader, Jon Arndt, as K Shearer moves to second, and these guys do catch Jon Arndt. They're going to want to put themselves in second place, so that way they can then battle for the race lead when we end up getting to that point. This next time by, it's 2 laps to go. There's still plenty of time for that group to catch the 05 of Jon Arndt, who's now about to approach some traffic. A couple of drivers on the tail end of the lead lap. Emmanuel Hartnett, 83, Kyle Mathews in the 09. Last time by, it was about 2.1 second separation from first to second. Let's see what the gap is this time. 1.4. They cut it down by almost an entire 7/10. And with 2 to go, they will be on his back bumper before we get to the checkered flag. Cole Baker has now moved into second place. This right here could be the potential battle for the win. Whoever ends up running second when they catch the 05 will have him as a sitting duck and might be making the move for the victory. Brooke Allan trying to take that spot now from Cole Baker, trying to get her first career win as they are still closing in on the 05 of Jon Arndt, who will see the white flag displayed this time. If it's down to about 7/10, they'll catch him by the start-finish line. And they only closed it down by about 3/10, surprisingly enough. So they didn't really reel him in there that lap. So Jon Arndt, hoping that they continue to race for second, he might be home free with the win. Down the back straightaway, Brooke Allan leading the group. Garrett Sydnor there in third. His championship hopes riding on a good finish. I think that might be enough to get him into the Elite Eight. As down into turns 3 and 4, Jon Arndt looking to complete the sweep for his team with his second trip of his career to victory lane. Brooke Allan, big run out of turn 4, but I don't think she's going to have enough time to get him. She's going to drive low, try and get the run, but she's not going to be able to do it. Jon Arndt, second career win, first of the season, takes the checkered flag here tonight at Riki Raceway. And I believe with the runs they just had, that Garrett Sydnor and Sean Gallighan are at least 2 drivers that will make it into the Elite 8 to battle for the championship, finishing 3rd and 7th. AS Racing had some really good cars here tonight. Sydnor was up in the top 10 all night. Jon Arndt was out in front for a good portion of this race, winning the event. And J Baskinger took a turn out in front as well. But now, the checkered flag is waved, and it's time to find out who potentially could be no longer contending for the championship, who's moving on, and who is not. Boy, I can't even in my head think of who's going to be moving on and who isn't. There's a couple of drivers I can see maybe not making it based off of where they finished here tonight, but I cannot with certainty say who is the Elite 8 drivers and who isn't. I think that 2 drivers for sure that will not be making it into the next round, actually 3 drivers probably, will be Benjamin Miles, Dallas McIntosh, and Alex Drayton. Miles tried that strategy. He finishes in 22nd. Don't know if that's going to be enough to get him into the playoffs or not. Alex Drayton finished 24th, Dallas McIntosh in 25th, and to my knowledge, neither one of them got any stage points here this evening, so I think that might be the end of the road for them. But between Dylan Young, Garrett Sydnor, Sean Gallighan, Charles Sandfer, I have no idea. No clue. If I were to wager an educated guess, and this is just purely off of speculation, I would assume that the drivers that will be the Elite 8 drivers are going to be Michaels, Dunham, McCrury, Guilbert, Dodd, Young, Sydnor, and Gallighan. That's just based off speculation. I think the 4 that would probably be eliminated would be Sandfer, McIntosh, Drayton, and Miles, but do not take my word for it. Wait until the official standings are shown. But J Arndt, for the second straight season, all 3 of the AS Racing drivers go to victory lane at least once. And J Arndt completes that sweep here tonight. Brooke Allan, again, so close to her first career victory, but it does not happen once again. She'll have to settle for second place. G Sydnor, third place, enough to get him into the Elite 8. And how about the couple of rookies there? Actually, a few rookies up inside the top 10 there. Cody Smart in 4th. K Shearer there in 5th. And Quentin Moore, the pole sitter, was able to hang on for 8th. Cole Baker and S Gallighan, a couple of teammates there in 6th and 7th. That, I believe, would be enough to get Gallighan into the Elite 8. C Dodd was the 3rd playoff driver to finish in the top 10 tonight as he popped up into 9th. And Levi McIntyre completed the top 10 here this evening. And the rest of your playoff drivers, where did they finish? Daniel Guilbert was in 18th. Charles Sandfer 19th. Anthony McCrury 20th. Trent Dunham 21st. Benjamin Miles in 22nd. Alex Drayton in 24th. Dallas McIntosh 25th. Dylan Young was down in 27th place. And then it was Joshua Michaels way back in 35th, even though he basically came into this race knowing he was going to move on to the next round regardless. And we had 38 drivers finish on the lead lap. Only one driver finished a lap down. That was Matt Haas in 39th place. We had green flag all the way. We had some great battling for the race lead there and some very interesting pit strategy in the closing stages. But after all of those chapters are told, we turn the page to the end of the book. And now it's time to find out who are going to be our Elite 8 drivers to battle it out in the final round, or the next to last round, I should say, round 3, to determine our final 4 at the season finale. J Arndt wins here tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finish results. These are your rookie points, your overall points, and your playoff points, showing you the Elite 8 drivers as well as the reformatted points heading into our next event. Next event that we're going to be having is going to be Hersheys Cup Series action alone from the Michigan International Raceway. That'll be coming up next week. Then after that, we're going to have Pizza Hut X Series and Hersheys Cup Series action from Talladega. Following week, all 3 series will head to Homestead and Miami Speedway for their penultimate races to determine our final 4. Elimination weekend for all 3 series to determine the final 4 for each championship at our season finale, which I have been putting off saying Auto Club because I don't know for absolute certain if it's going to be Auto Club or not, because I'm in the works of trying to put together NNSCRA Speedway. So that's a possibility. It could either be Auto Club or NNSCRA Speedway. It all really depends. I'll have to let you guys know. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in to tonight's race, and I will see you guys next week at Michigan as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA. All flying racing at its best. The chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship continues on.